Hi, this is Xana Winans, and you are on the Kirk Barron's Best Practices Show.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the Best Practices Show, where we take a look at the best business practices for the best dental practices all over the world. And if you're a dentist trying to grow your business, one of the things that you have is called a website. And today we're going to talk about the 5 ways you can double your new patient conversion from your website, because you can't just have a website, you got to know how to use it. And I've got one of the world's experts on today, Xana Winans. You're going to see we love having her on. She's our resident expert on these things. So do not miss this. Grab a pen and hit the share button. You're going to love it. Now, a couple show notes. We are shooting this live on Facebook like we always do. So if you're watching this and you have a couple questions, add them to the feed and I'll dish them to Xana while she's on, and we'll get the answers straight from the master herself. You're going to see she's a wealth of knowledge. Or if you're watching them later on, feel free to continuously add questions to the feed because we'll get back to you. We want you guys to get the most out of this when you're watching these. Feel free to share these videos with your team members. A lot of times team members don't get great training. This is a great opportunity to say, hey, look, just watch this, and we'll try to answer the tough questions and give them the right guidance. Keep sending us suggestions for shows. I keep getting these all the time. I am so grateful. We are lining them up right now, up over 39,000 followers on Facebook, and over 150,000 of you have visited us on iTunes. I have no idea how that works, but all I can say is thank you. Now, our guest today, Xana, has been one of our good friends, reliable experts, colleagues. And Xana, I'm just going to say this about you and scream and rave. In the world of dental marketing, people come and go all the time. You know, there's companies that come in and you're like, where's that company? And like in a year, they're gone. You're like, what's happening? You're one of those people that's been there forever. I met you years ago through a bunch of friends that I totally trust. You've been there helping our clients for years. And I know who you are. A lot of our clients, many people in the ACT community know who you are. But if we have dentists now all over the world, and sometimes dental students watching this, if somebody's never heard of you or Golden Proportions, give them your story. I'd love to hear your story.
Okay, so Golden Proportions Marketing, we are a full service dental marketing agency. So there's a ton of people in the dental marketing world. There's people who do newsletters and websites and SEO and social media. But I'm one of those people who's not satisfied with just doing one thing. I'm kind of like a big picture person. So when I started the agency 18 years ago, I made sure that everything that we did was like completely full service. We were looking at the life cycle of marketing in a dental practice. And Kirk knows this, but for those of you who don't, I live and breathe dentistry every day because I have the very good fortune of being married to a very handsome dentist. So we get to see this stuff in action. We know what it takes to run practices. And honestly, my poor husband gets to be my guinea pig whenever we're trying something new. So before I recommend it, I promise someone else has tried it.
Yes, and Larry's a great human being, awesome dentist, and he is a good-looking fella, so it's good stuff. Now, let's talk about the why before we get into the how, Xana. You do this with dentists all over, and why is this topic so important when we talk about new patients and conversion before we get into the weeds? Why is this so important?
Well, first of all, it's important because I really don't think there's that many people talking about it right now. Conversion rate optimization, also called CRO, is kind of like this bastard stepchild of SEO. Everybody knows search engine optimization and that they're supposed to be doing it, but nobody thinks about, okay, if I do a really good job with SEO and my site is at the #1 spot and I'm getting all these people clicking and they're going to my site, what happens then? Mm-hmm. The really critical part, SEO is maybe 50% of the equation. Once you have gotten someone to the site, if you're not doing everything you can, every trick in the book, to get that visitor to stick around, to explore your website, to like what they see, you have completely wasted all that effort. So to me, conversion rate optimization is kind of a drum that I beat because it's that missing component that's really going to drive your success. And I think we got some pretty cool, super fast ways that doctors can actually take advantage of this.
Yeah, and I love this. And if you've built a website already, you know it's not a small thing. You're going to invest a lot. Now with the changing dynamics, more people are on these than ever, and their attention spans, I would guess, are really short too. I don't know the stat on this, but the attention span of a goldfish, what is like 8 seconds? Mine's way shorter. I wonder what a gnat's is. But I would imagine the typical consumer's attention span is somewhere in the same place as a goldfish, right? Like they're not wasting 10, 15, 20 seconds just kind of perusing your site, even if it's on their phone or on a desktop.
That's a great point, because actually the very first thing that impacts your conversion is when they click that link, how fast do you load? Our attention span is so driven by like this immediate response society. If your site takes longer than 3 seconds to load, I guarantee you the majority of people are just hitting the back button and they're going to your competitor. Even if it would actually take less time for them to wait it out for your site to load, they're willing to start all over again. So that attention span is just minute. You've got to capture it immediately.
Yeah, so that's number one. You would say it's the website speed. So let's just make that really clear. That's number one. Now, what are some of the things that affect it and make it slow? Because some dentists are watching this and they're like, yeah, I bought this package from this company at a seminar one time and my website looks like my neighbor's. Like, is it templated thing? Is it the amount? Like, what affects speed on a website?
A lot of it has to do with basically like how much junk is on your website. So the more bells and whistles that you add in, the slower it takes to load, unless you built it with someone who knows how to compress everything. So like great example are those websites that when you open them up, they've got video in the hero image and there's great motion, and video is great for getting people to stick around. But if that video hasn't been compressed, it's just going to drag. It's going to take forever to load and you lose people. So compressing things like videos and compressing photography. And that's why, you know, those old days when websites had all that motion and everything was floating around, it looked really pretty, but there's a reason we don't do that anymore, because it doesn't work. People abandon the site and they go to someone else who's easier.
Right. Now we're going to talk about this, but you actually have a way to measure it, whether you have a website done by you or not. We're going to talk about that resource. But once I get to that, Xana, what am I going to be? I'm going to be looking for upload, download speed, like refresh. What are some of the indicators that I would want to check when it comes to website speed?
Okay, so the super simple thing, Google, of course, has a million free tools. I want everybody to just go to Google and type in the words Google Speed Test. When you get there, it's a totally free tool. You can type in your website address and it's going to run an immediate analysis for you and tell you how fast your website loads, both on a desktop computer and on a mobile phone. You're going to get 2 different ratings for speed, because a lot of times the site might be optimized for your laptop and it's really slow on the phone. And the phone is where we're the most vulnerable because we have really short attention spans on the phone. So when you get that speed test back, which should take maybe 30 seconds, it's actually going to tell you what to do step by step to improve your speed on your website.
Okay, so it lets you know if it's poor, great, or average, and then it gives you a treatment plan as a result.
Exactly. It will literally tell you what to do. So if you want to know if the website company that you're working with right now has actually taken that into consideration, just run that test. And if you don't like the results you're seeing, shoot them an email with a screen capture of this, and they need to hop on it. Now, some of that sometimes is just because you might have a really old website. I mean, standards are always changing. So what was great 5 years ago isn't great now. But this is a good opportunity to kind of make sure that your site is literally up to speed.
Yeah, and let me just reiterate, you said if it isn't 3 seconds, you're losing approximately 40% of your traffic, correct?
Yep, roughly 40% of the traffic that you were paying all those hard-earned dollars to do SEO for has now decided to go hit the back button, and they are going to your competitor. And of those 40% of people, 80% of them, almost all of them, will never come back to your site.
So true. So 40 and 80%, those are both 2 very big numbers.
They're huge. I mean, who doesn't want 40% more patients? If you think of it that way, you are literally costing yourself 40% of your new patients.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So that's number one. What's number 2 when it comes to a fast way of doubling your new patients through your website?
So a really big one for me that's new and exciting, but they've got incredible statistics on it, is live chat.
Okay, wait. Now pause there because I don't have this, and we need to do this. What is live chat? It's not somebody talking to you, right?
No, it's chat. It's like text messaging.
Okay.
So there's applications that you can install on your website. There's actually been some free ones. There's a great free one I love called, this is going to sound so New York, Twawk, T-A-W-K .to.
T-A-W-K.to?
Yep, so it's like talk to, but it's pronounced Twawk.
Twawk. Twawk to.
So it's totally free, and I got to tell you, it is awesome to use on a website. Now, I know so many doctors who are like, I could never monitor live chat. And there's some services out there that are trying to sell doctors on crazy expensive, hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month for some other company to monitor your chat. And that means that there's another company who will be answering a potential patient's questions for you. I honestly don't think it's necessary. When you do live chat, as long as you're in the office and you have the application up, you just have it open as a tab on your browser, it'll give you like a little doorbell ding dong to let you know when someone has typed in a question.
Awesome. That is awesome.
You know when someone is on your site, it lets you know when someone is ready to interact. You can choose to go first. You can type messages out and see if someone's ready to respond. But I tend to think of live chat kind of like when I go shopping. I do not want someone to come up and bother me. When I'm ready, I will go up to the salesperson and ask a question.
Yeah.
So I generally recommend that you just let it sit and let someone browse your site. And when they have a question, I promise you, they're going to ask it. And if your team member is right there, I mean, how long does it take to type a one-sentence response and start engaging with somebody on your site?
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, too, the younger patients don't like often calling. And I don't even like often calling. I'll do some homework on a business. Now, can you speak to this? Two things I thought about when you were saying this is, number one, you can now limit your hours. You know, you can this live chat thing, I've done this too, where I'll type back and I'll go, is this a real person? Is Steve really your name? And then they'll go, you can see it's like a fake response. Well, how cool is it in dentistry where you can say, I am real, and yes, you are talking to the person working at the front desk. Can you speak to both of those?
Yeah, so absolutely. I love the idea of knowing that you're talking to a real person. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a perfect opportunity to say, absolutely, you know what, let me show you who I am. Just while you're on our site, click on the About page, and I'm going to take you to my picture. And boy, doesn't that create this incredible dynamic where you can literally see the person that you're talking to. And I hate to say it, you're going to have to repeat the first question because we had a little video delay.
The first one is how much more you can capture people doing homework on you outside of your business hours. Like if you wanted to, you could have a team member and incentivize them instead of thinking, well, I got to be open till 7 p.m. every night. You could limit your hours and you could say, hey, look, because it's going to notify you when somebody's on your site. You could have a team member say, look, I'll take it this weekend and incentivize them to convert a new patient. You can also ask for email addresses through the chat and say, hey, in case I lose you, leave me your email address and I'll make sure you get some more information on our practice and what we're all about.
Absolutely. Just like I think phones should be answered pretty much around the clock. Same thing with a live chat. You can just download this as an app on your phone. It will give you a notification, a little ding dong or whatever signal you want to say, hey, somebody's on there, wants to chat with you. So it shows patients that you're there, you're responsive, you're talking to a real person. And their questions are going to be really simple. The questions are going to be, do you take a particular insurance? So we got to make sure they know how to answer that question. So like script some of these answers in advance is a great idea. They're going to ask your hours. They're going to ask pretty simple questions if you do a particular procedure. So that's why I don't think it's necessary to pay another company hundreds and hundreds of dollars to monitor your live chat. Nobody knows your practice better than you do.
Right. Now, you mentioned Talk To. Is there any others that you recommend that are good?
There's a ton of really good ones out there. I think there's like a livechat.com. Literally, all I would say is just go online and search live chat, free live chat apps. So all of these apps have like a free version that is super simple to use. You can pay for it and they have like automated responses that can go out and you can do this kind of drip response to follow up with people. I don't think it's necessary for a dental office.
Right.
We have explored personally at least a dozen different live chat options, both for our new website as well as the ones that we use for our clients. And truly, I think that particular one, the talk.com or talk.to, is really the best option, especially for dental offices. It's so easy.
I gotta say, TAWK.2. Okay, cool. So that's number 2. Now, what's number 3 to double your new patients?
Okay, number 3 is kind of along the same lines. It's online scheduling. Okay. If somebody does not have, and I'm not talking about the request an appointment, which really just takes somebody to a form and you submit it, and then you're doing that back and forth chasing. Because we are, again, this like immediate response society, people want their answer right here, right now. They want to be able to just schedule their appointment. So I don't know if you have any favorite ones. Personally, I love Local Med.
Yeah.
They're so simple to use. And it's really inexpensive. It's like less than $200 a month, I think. And when you can put that application on your website, you now have the ability for someone to schedule 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, whenever they decide that they are ready.
Right. Now, let me just ask you a question because I don't know the answers. Local Med plugs into your practice management software like a Dentrix or like an EagleSoft. Is that right? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
And then please keep in mind, people are not scheduling whenever they want to. You're designating these holes and they're picking one of the holes. Is that right?
Exactly. So that's what's really cool about it is you have complete control over your schedule. It's not like any appointment can be scheduled for any procedure at any time. You set up all the limitations. So most doctors that we work with, they'll start by doing something simple like emergency exams or a cleaning, but it can only be an existing patient. Or they might do like a free dental implant consultation, something that they're actively promoting. They're not going to let a patient schedule their own crown because if they haven't been in, you don't know that they're a candidate for it. So you custom pick whatever procedures you want to get, let people have the ability to schedule. You can choose new patients or existing patients, and you can handpick which providers are available. So maybe you're trying to fill up your associate's schedule and the doctor's completely full. You can leave the practice owner completely out of the mix and only have the associate schedule on there to help fill that one up, or a new hygienist.
Yeah. Now, what's so cool, we use a similar link, especially for this show. People can schedule their own times, and then it integrates with their Google, so it'll create a reminder in their schedule. You can also choose if you want to have text reminders or email reminders. So like I have it set where people get an email reminder a week before, then 2 days before, and then a text. So you can set all, and keep in mind, this is all automated. And Xana, speak to this, because I mentioned it before, but how much of this new generation of people really aren't going to phone other people? And I'll kind of lead you with the question, because I asked my daughter, I go, when's the last time you called one of your friends? And she goes, I'll tell you. And she looked at it and she goes, it's probably been a month since I've called a friend. Like, I'm like, really? You don't use the phone as a phone? She's like, Dad, we don't use the phone as phones anymore.
They really don't. I completely agree with you. So a great example of how much people really don't want to talk on the phone, if you actually get someone to call and you don't pick up the phone, 70% of those callers bail. They hang up. They don't leave a voicemail. That is how much we hate the phone. Mm-hmm. So anything you can do that literally lets people not talk to you before they have to come into the practice and actually talk to you is going to get you that much more conversion. I know it seems totally counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It's pathetic, but true. So true of our society. No, and Local Med is a good one. That's the only one I've really heard of. Do you have another that you recommend?
Honestly, I'm not super familiar. I think there's, I'm blanking on one of the other options that are out there, but Local Med is really kind of tried and trusted.
Yeah.
And it integrates with almost all the practice management software. And I think they even do like a free 30-day trial. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn there. But it's such a super simple thing to add to your site. And then, so here's the really cool thing. Once you have this application, you can put it on your Facebook page. You can add it to a landing page if you're doing Google AdWords or Facebook ads. I believe you can actually even add it to your Google My Business listing. So you can kind of let people schedule all over. It doesn't just have to be on your website.
Amen. I love that. So that's number 3. What's number 4 when we're doubling new patient conversion from our website?
So number 4 is, I think, your favorite topic of all time, video.
Mm-hmm. Video is king, though. Like it just is. People love video. Everybody. I love video. You love video. Everybody loves video.
Of course.
I learned how to tie I was doing a single slip knot. My daughter's like, you got to do a double. I'm like, I don't know how. She's like, hold on, let's find a YouTube video. And she showed me so now I do the double knot. Like, I'm like, and I learned that on YouTube. The other thing I'm noticing, okay, I'm so sorry that I'm just fired up because I love hanging out with you, is that people now in lectures come up to me and they're citing references. So somebody came up to me a lecture a little while back and they're like, do you know? And they gave me a statistic and I'm like, that's a really good, where'd you get that? They go, YouTube. I'm like, you're citing YouTube. Yeah, I saw a guy because people see video as real and truth. And so what a great opportunity to promote the truth of who you are, what you do, and what you're all about, right?
Exactly. I mean, you've seen the power, because when you've got video, there is literally nothing more authentic than showing people who you are.
Right.
When you've got a really high fear product like dentistry, anything you can do to take down those barriers is just spectacular. So letting people know that you're a nice, friendly office, doing an office video tour, just showing them interacting with patients. Patient testimonials are the best thing in the world on video.
Right.
So many ways to use it.
Now, if you're watching this, maybe you've heard of this thing called Fortnite. Okay, so Fortnite is the bane of my existence. My son was watching a television show yesterday of this guy named Ninja. I don't even know who he is, but he takes videos of him playing Fortnite, and he's one of the richest YouTubers of all time. He has as many followers as Beyonce. Okay, now that's insane. All he does is talk while he's playing video games. And I watch these kids, they're all watching videos of a guy playing a video. I'm like, where is this world going? But videos, it's king.
It is. That is absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
So there's some like really cool numbers. So video can do way more than just increase your conversion. First of all, it's going to increase your SEO. Websites that have video are 55% more likely to rank on page 1. So it does that first thing that you need to like get you high in the search engine results so that they can go to your website and convert. So it's got kind of a great double whammy.
Right.
And then websites that have video, people stay on there almost twice as long, 88% longer on a website with video than one without it.
Okay, let me ask you about that, because you get to see a lot of dental websites. What are some of the examples? Because I get it, but what kind of videos would I shoot, Xana? Like what, if I'm a dentist watching this, I'm like, I get it, but what makes people stay? What kind of a video? What are your favorites?
So personally, I think anything that's personal but professional. You do not want to be shooting something with your iPhone, just walking around doing that jumpy video of an office tour. You actually want to bring in a real video crew. So I think office tours are big because, again, it just sort of takes away that patient fear. People have that, oh, okay, I know where I'm going. This place looks cool. Interview with the doctor. They're just a super simple, let me show you I'm a real person. Let me talk a little bit about my kids, about how I love taking care of patients, introduce you to the team. Those are fun. If you've really got personality plus, then you can totally do something really fun that kind of goes viral, like the ones you and I have seen where they're doing office tours. And like who's the doctor that was big a couple of weeks ago because he did some lip sync video and he was a really cute looking doctor. He got literally like 70 or 80 million views.
Really?
This is a dentist of him lip syncing. I wish I'd looked his name up. I totally blanked on it. If you have that kind of personality, you're willing to put yourself out there, it can be crazy powerful.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'd have to take a look at it. But really, Xana, what you're saying is just let yourself, don't try to be somebody you're not. Just let it come through. And I've seen people do kooky things, but you're like, that is so them. You know what I mean? They're just having fun. And you certainly don't want to be in a suit and tie. Oh, we do advanced restorative dentistry and our crowns are beautiful. And I've been trained by the best in the world. You know, you want to have just be approachable more than anything, right?
You want to be authentic. That's why people are going to come see you. They're going to assume everybody does dentistry. So what makes your dentistry better than somebody else's? It's the fact that you have a sense of humor and you're relaxed. And I mean, like If I were doing this in my husband's office, we'd be including the fact that he has the dogs come in the office. Patients flipping love that kind of a thing. So anything that showcases personality and what you guys do that's a little bit different, huge. Love video.
Yeah, it really does build trust in a visual sense. It's awesome. I totally agree. So that's number 4. What's number 5 that you would highly recommend to double our new patient numbers from the website?
So in a perfect world, we'd be talking about how to write the content in a perfect direct response manner, blah, blah, blah. I want some simple fixes that doctors can do, and that's photography. That is using no stock photography. It has got to be your patients. Even if you are the one shooting them, which I will take that over stock photography. I'll take a doctor shot patient versus stock photography any day of the week.
Right, because I thought that one employee, she just worked in like thousands of offices. We've seen these photos, and patients know when it's stock photography. They know it right away, don't they?
Exactly. They've seen the same photograph on their bank's website and at the dry cleaner. And I mean, people know stock photography. This is not new. So in a perfect world, yeah, you bring in a good photographer, or you have a patient who's a photographer and comes in and grabs shots of your patients. But even if you have to personally show them, this is so conversion driven to show off in a lifestyle shot. We are not talking about a headshot with retractors in and people looking really awkward and uncomfortable. It needs to be, here's who I am and how I feel about myself now that you have improved my smile.
Yeah, now let's talk about the uncomfortable part of photography, because you see this, a lot of dentists take photos of work that they've done, and there's a certain point where you probably should not publish any of that work. Like, let's make sure, because people take a photo and the coloring is off and you can see other teeth have really bad margins, but you're trying to capture that one tooth there, and patients don't, you don't think patients see the other. There's a certain point where when it comes, first of all, what would you say about tooth photography versus people photography?
About the only time that I am okay with tooth photography is if it's like really tightly cropped in and I'm only looking at lips. Not even, I hate retractor shots. They're just, they make me feel like you're going to rip my face off, literally, as a patient. So if I do that, it might be like next to a gorgeous portrait photo of how beautiful I look now that I'm all done. Yeah,
let me help you with that. I heard it. This is not me. Please do not. I heard a dentist say this one time. You never want to show retractors on a website because they're stirrups for the face. And I'm like, oh, that's horrible. But he's like, it's true. People don't understand how that does not like make a patient feel like, oh, that's so comfortable. Once he said that, I was like, oh, get retractors off your photos. Now, that was not me saying that. I'm just passing. But it's true. I see people pulling these lips way out there and they think they're awesome, but they're not.
I completely agree. I mean, I think it destroys a website. So if you do this thing, so we put this on all websites. We do heat mapping. Are you familiar with heat mapping?
Yes. Now I am. Can you tell our visitors or watchers if they don't know what it is?
Yeah, so heat mapping is an application that you can install on your website, and we do this with every new website that we launch, and it kind of lets you see literally how people are using your website. It's going to give you kind of hot spots and cold spots, so to speak, what things they're clicking on, where they stop and spend the most time, what they just scroll right past and say, forget it. So the heat mapping is going to tell you exactly how well someone is interacting with your site and frankly what you want to change. And I guarantee if you have photographs with retractors in, you're going to get a big cold dead spot, or probably worse, they're just going to abandon your site.
Yeah, and the heat maps are important because now you can spend more time developing where people are at. It gives you real-time data instead of trying to guess what's working in your website.
Exactly. And it's amazing what it reveals to you. We all think we know what people are going to like. And until you actually see it, it's eye-opening what people truly care about and the things that they're going to jump right past.
Right.
So just because you think your cosmetic dentistry or your dental implants that people are going to want this deep, deep information, I guarantee you when you see the results of the heat mapping, you're going to see what they really care about, which 99% of the time is going to be your office tour, your doctor bio, and like where your office is located. They jump right to the meat of it. They don't care about what you do for a living. They just care about how to get it done.
Right. And then I really want you, because these are crazy good and easy things to do in your website. I want you to speak to this. If a dentist watching this is going, no, I've been a restorative dentist for a long time. All my patients are internally referred. They really don't go to Google or my website. I get them all internally referred. Can you just speak to that? Because I know the truth of what's happening out there, and you do more than I do.
Okay, so first of all, that's baloney. There might be one or two doctors out there who have an completely referred practice, but it is much more rare than you think. So you know how we track everything that our clients do, and when team members are recording where the new patient comes from, in general, and this is from hundreds and hundreds of practices, maybe 25% of your new patients are saying that they're coming from another patient in the practice.
25%?
We get the ego answer.
It's flipped.
Totally flipped. Doctors, they believe the thing that is most flattering to their ego, which is, I'm so good that everybody's talking about me. And that's what we want to hear. So we kind of focus in on that. But when you really look at the data doesn't lie. Data says about 25% of your patients are coming from existing patients. Now, you may be the practice, that's the exception, not the rule. And if so, I want to learn your secrets. But it is not as high as you think. So you got to have your act together when it comes to your website. Or even if they did hear about you from a friend, they're still going to go to your website and check out who you are. They're going to still go and read your reviews. So you got to have that conversion part figured out no matter what.
Right. And this internet thing isn't going to go away. It's like some dentists are just kind of sitting around waiting for it to go away, or social media will not be as popular in the future. Don't worry about it. Like, no, it's here to stay, and it's going to become more of our lives than we could ever dream.
It's here to stay. But okay, so slight side note. Did you see that report that was just out this week from the Pew Research Center?
No, tell me.
25% of American Facebook users have completely deleted the app in the past year.
Really? Why is that? Like, tell me why.
So they're really concerned about privacy. All the things that came out from the whole Russian investigation and the data analytics that were being sold on their behalf.
So their trust is low.
Their trust is really low. And they also know that their Facebook newsfeed is not filled with their own friends anymore. It's typically filled with advertisements. So while I wouldn't be saying run from Facebook, my point is that social media is going to continue to evolve because consumers are deciding what's important to them. And that's where that authenticity and a really good conversion experience is so important, because if someone doesn't like Facebook, they're going to bail, they're going to go somewhere else. You got to stay one step ahead of what that trend is.
Amen, sister. Gosh, this is always so good. Tanya, you always give us so much good information. And guys, I'm just telling you, whenever I freak out, this is the woman I call for everything. Like, I'm just like, Tanya, I need help. And so she's like, okay, calm down. Here's the truth, blah, blah, blah. So I highly encourage you, if you're watching this and you're struggling with marketing, new patients, website, anything, you're going to see she's just amazing. Her team is incredibly amazing. Now, Xana, you actually have a resource that if people are watching this and they want to know their conversion score, can you tell us about this? Now, keep in mind, people are listening to this on iTunes. They don't have the benefit of watching this. What can I do to get that?
Okay, super simple. So we created a conversion scorecard. So we want everybody to go to goldenproportions.com, and you're going to see a tab that says resources. If you click on resources, you're going to see a conversion scorecard. You simply click on that, and you can actually score your own website for some of these things that we talked about and a whole bunch of other things, and see if your website is doing its best job at converting, or if you are just missing half those new patients that should be coming in your door.
Yeah.
So everybody go check that out. I think the scorecard is really going to open some eyes as to missed opportunities.
Yeah, so you can find that if you're listening. It's at goldenproportions.com/resources. Click on that. It'll take you right to it. Oh, we've also posted that as a link in the show. And Xana, if I wanted to find out more information about you and get your help, how would I find you?
So I would say email is probably the fastest way, Xana, Xana, at goldenproportions.com, or they can always give us a ring at 570-742-5656. My God, I forgot my own phone number.
That's okay. I got it on speed dial, so I don't even have to remember it. I can just press it. It's my favorite. So, Xana, you are the best. Thank you so much. Stick around while we say goodbye to everybody else. So, thank you guys for watching the Best Practices show. If you enjoyed today, which I know you did, just do us a favor. Hit the share button. Share this with your friends and help them out in this great profession we call dentistry. Keep sending us suggestions for things that you want to see. You're going to see Xana's a resident expert. We're going to have her back again and again and again. Any questions like direct mail, you're going to see she knows phone skills, like metrics, like anything you want to know about marketing, specifically when you're thinking about putting a plan together. Add those questions to us. We'll get her back. I'll ask her some great questions. We're going to get some great answers for her, and so we'll have her back. So until we see you guys next time, keep watching the Best Practices show. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.